Hello. Happy KBIS. I'm Jennifer Convey. I'm the CEO of Women in Luxury Design. It's a business networking organization for interior designers, architects, and builders, and so forth. And I'm super excited to be here today with these two superstar designers. We have Nina Magon and Regina Sturrock. Yay! And they're going to tell us a little bit about themselves in just a second, but we're really excited about this particular session. Am I holding the microphone right? They're very strict here. Okay. All right. Anyway, we are talking about pushing the limits of design. That's a broad topic. There's lots of ways we can push the limits, technology, in design, innovative architecture, and so forth. So the description that KBIS gave us was from sprawling waterfront estates to private urban sanctuaries. Discover how designers are leveling up on luxury and cutting-edge technology, sustainable materials, and jaw-dropping architectural features, and so forth. So first off, I want to introduce you both, Nina Magon and Regina Sturrock. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Great being here.
Great. How's KBIS going for you so far?
Well, I just got here, so I don't even have my badge yet.
I just found
I'm
the
a
stage.
delinquent.
Right. One thing I love about KBIS is that you can be sure you're going to get your 60,000 steps in, right? You haven't already. Okay, so we are talking about pushing the limits. And honestly, it seems like not long ago, what used to be considered outrageous, extreme, I heard something drop, they are now mainstream now. And it's just a couple short years, really. There have been many shifts and demands in recent years. I mean, granted, I'm from Los Angeles, so, more is more. We have space, a lot of big buildings. We just caught fire. You may have heard. It's been absolutely devastating. So we can talk about pushing the limits of rebuild. I'm from the Palisades, which is the town that there's no evidence of it existing. It's very tragic to our industry, to people, to communities, Altadena, but there's an opportunity to rebuild better than ever, state of the art. Okay, so some of the extreme things: infrared light rooms, simulated golf simulators, state-of-the-art home technology, some wonderful demands also, sustainability, sanctuary spaces, health and wellness rooms, spas. I mean, it goes on. Cold plunge rooms, right? Bowling alleys. All this are some of the things that we see regularly now in demand. But what I really want to know, those are mainstream, but we want to dive into the topic with both of you on what you're seeing in pushing the limits. But I think first, let's just start with your design aesthetic. Tell us about your background, and go ahead and start, Nina.
Hi, I hope everyone is having fun so far. I know it's a lot of walking. So anyways, I'm Nina Magon. I have been in design for 12 years now. I don't know if you guys might have seen it. My book just got launched in 2023 at New York Fashion Week with Balmain, and that's called Evoke. And so the main thing about Evoke is what is the feeling that you feel when you design. Part of our design aesthetic is going against boundaries, breaking boundaries. And I don't think there's any rules to design. I think that you should do whatever you want to do because that's what makes it very unique. Just like every client is super unique, so should our designs as well. So anyways, I'm based in Houston, Texas. We have an office in Austin, Texas, but we work globally. One of our clients are the royal family of Abu Dhabi. We work in London. We work in Texas. I think Texas is kind of the base home. It's obviously cheaper to live there. It's easier to have an office there. But we work all over the globe. And our team is 22 people. And we also have a very international team because everyone has been educated in a different country. So we get that very global aesthetic to design, which I think is so important because in every single country, the design aesthetic is very different. And so I think that's something that we also bring to the table that's very different from a lot of other design firms.
Definitely, and you can see that in your work. And Regina, you have an interesting background as well. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what your design aesthetic is.
I'm a Canadian designer, but my roots are in Europe. I was born in Graz, Austria, and this is a city steeped in old world architecture, fashion, art, and it really shaped me as a designer, as a creator. My aesthetic is really a purist, classic aesthetics, but that gives lots of room for freedom of expression and those beautiful jewel pieces that stand out with that classical grounding.
Right, beautiful. I wish we had a screen up here with slides. Normally I do that at our events, but please look them up and see their portfolios and projects. They're breathtaking, both of you. All right, so both of you are so well traveled. Wait, I know that you lived in South Africa as well, right?
No.
No, you didn't. Sorry, wrong person. Wrong person.
Lost track.
I thought you lived elsewhere besides Canada. So sorry, my apologies. But both of you are well traveled. You have a great understanding encompassing cultures. How important is travel for you and your inspiration and design? And what would you say to this audience who's design-centric about that? Go ahead, Regina, you start.
Well, we have I didn't continue with all the things that we've done in our past, but we do international design, and one that stands out for me is our penthouse in India, and that experience of that place has forever changed the way I design.
How so? How so?
Well, it really opened up my ideas to things that I wouldn't normally be in my regular realm of thinking. And every time I smell lemongrass, I see the color, I see the pattern, and I see those beautiful exotic scenes. It has really opened up my mind to other things, other cultures, and I feel that. That experience of other cultures and even the understanding of the craftsmanship and the artisanship of cultures is completely empowering. So it really allows you to broaden your perspectives on beauty. And in that way, too, is to really bring that into intentional design and how it resonates with your client.
Right. So you're constantly being stimulated and educated and in new creativity, new craftsmen, new styles and designs. And I think that's so important. And that's why you two are here talking about your influence with that particular background of travel. And you, my dear Nina?
Yeah, so my background is actually, I am from India. So I was born in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, moved to Calgary, but Saskatchewan? Oh, you just wanted to do that?
One person.
No one is from Regina, Saskatchewan, but it's
You
very
are.
small. But I can't believe you're really from there, Calgary.
They
Toronto,
miss you. They want
Canadians.
you back.
So, anyways, so I was born in, I told you, Regina, Saskatchewan, very, very small town, to two Indian parents. I moved to Calgary, Alberta. I actually, fun fact, I ran in the '88 Olympics. I was a child who got to run the Olympic torch in Calgary. I was only 6 years old. And
You really were.
yeah,
Wow.
my dad worked for Petro-Canada, and so I got an opportunity to run the Olympic torch. But anyways,
So cool.
so, every single summer, I studied in India because my mom would go back and we would stay there for 3 months in the blazing heat. And, I would go to school in India. But every time we went to Delhi, we took a different route. So first, sometimes we would go through London because we had relatives in London. Sometimes we would go, one time we went through Hong Kong. One time we went through Frankfurt, Germany. And then when Dubai started becoming popular, it was more of a direct flight, from Houston to Dubai, Dubai to India. So every time we took a different route, I would stay in those cities that we were in. And because of that, from a very young age, I experienced culture from so many different places, not just culture, but climate, and the people and their rituals. When you go to India and when you go to Europe, they're two totally different places. And for a kid who's seeing that firsthand, you can only imagine
Sponge.
the thoughts that I was
Learning.
having. Yeah.
That's fantastic. How fascinating. What both of you, extraordinary background. So I want to ask you about, you know, the cultural aspect and influence of your designs and travel. So on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a must for designers. But I want to say that even if you can't travel like that, even within the region of the United States, it's regional design, right? I mean, you go from Texas to New York, or New York to Los Angeles, or Miami, right, to the Dakotas. I mean, it is so varied. The territory, the design, all of it is invaluable. All right, so wanted to talk about clients wanting the same amenities that they have at home. And those amenities are quite something, right? We're talking luxury bedding, the latest in technology, all these things that they have at home they want in hospitality, because once they leave their home, they want the same comforts, amenities, styles, all that stuff. Do you find that to be true?
Yes, I think it's totally true.
Right.
A lot of people actually want to live now. They don't want to go and visit those hotels anymore. They want that hospitality experience to be something that is prevalent in their own home.
Right.
Because why pay so much money to keep on traveling everywhere when you can have that in your own house where you live and breathe every single day? And that residence is what impacts you the most.
That's right. And also it happened since COVID as well. All that building out their homes with home theaters and all the extreme stuff. So let's talk about pushing the limits. How are you, each of you, pushing your own limits in design, technology, whatever it is, whatever you want to talk about? Regina?
Well, I want to say first and foremost, always the way I push the limits is through imagination, unlimited imagination. And I feel that that is most important when we're thinking about, any aspect of the design that really leads to something that's fascinating, thinking about elaboration.
For
and beauty.
instance, any example do you want to mention? I know, esoteric. Okay. And you, Nina?
I think that pushing the limits is also collaborations.
Yes.
Pushing the limits for a designer means don't do what everybody else is doing.
Exactly.
Do what's true to you. That's pushing the limits for me. It's breaking those societal norms. Stop following trends. You want to follow trends, follow them. You don't want to follow them, don't follow them. But the thing is that's what makes you unique. If you open up all these books and you see what everybody else is doing and you do the same thing, then how does that make you unique? They can go hire that person
Right.
who already has a book. Why would they come to you?
Right. If you just want to buy the showroom and you want to live in a showroom and it looks like a showroom, how many of you, I'm of a certain age, remember Garanimals? It's so little kids can get dressed. The tiger goes with the shirt, goes with the tiger pants, and the lion goes right. That's when I feel like for a while we went through in design. It's like everything's matchy. If I see one more white box and everything's white or gray, it's like, okay, we've done that, and it's beautiful. But if you're a designer, how are you going to make that come alive and unique? Where we are, we have a huge RH store, not to disparage them. They're beautiful, beautiful spaces. But if clients come in and go, I want that living room, well, they can go do that themselves, right? If they have the money, they can go do that. But where is the uniqueness? Where is the interest? So I've heard it said, and I'm going to paraphrase, that great design is it's art, it's storytelling, psychology, and science. Would you agree? Regina?
Absolutely. I think that first...
Absolutely.
I do. I think that science and technology has really come more into our realm of understanding with our, particularly in context with our responses to beauty and experiential design. But I would like to say that when it comes to really pushing the limits, reinventing the old, making the old uniquely new again, fresh, and having new insights towards what is beautiful. And this is an evolution.
I love that. An evolution, a revolution and an evolution. Love it. And you, Nina, thoughts on Do you feel that design is psychology, storytelling, all of those things, science?
Well, I feel like design, if you're a designer, you're a therapist. Between a
yeah,
husband
we
and a
forgot
wife,
that.
especially if you do residential design. Our firm does mostly to the 1%. So we're the ultra high net worth. And, obviously the husband and the wife are never on the same page. And so there is a lot of psychology in it. But, I think that the unique thing about design is, again, pushing your boundaries and trying to do something that nobody else is doing. For example, really quick, I'm going to do a plug really fast because I did a collection it's called Onirica for Cosentino. And that collection, it looks like marble, but it's not. It's a prefabricated stone that you can put in a kitchen because everyone knows you can't put marble on a kitchen counter anymore. Even though it looks the best, you can't do it because it's not practical. I'm Indian, you can't put turmeric on a countertop that's marble. And so Cosentino has done something very innovative because we were able to create and develop these colors that you can use in a kitchen, and it looks like marble, but it's not. So again, pushing the boundaries to do something different.
Right, exactly. We have a talk later, but we're going to talk a little bit about this now. I have a podcast here today, and it's collaborations and partnerships in design. It's the future. Look at any business right now. It is the future. We're stronger for it. Choose wisely. And it's a very symbiotic thing. It should be, right? To be sure you partner and make the right brands and partnerships. Speaking of which, do you have some partnerships or any collaborations that you've done or are doing?
I do, actually. And actually that came from my experience of place from India. And I have a carpet line in Toronto with W Studio, and that was a direct inspiration from the sari weaves, the piachatura, the woodblock patterns from the craftsmanship of the place.
I saw them.
Beautiful. Beautiful collection.
Beautiful. So there you go. Inspiration, product. And you, my dear, we're at KBIS. You have collaborations right here.
Yeah, I actually have several collaborations, but the ones that are here, one is Cosentino, Studio M lighting, which is also being displayed in the Monogram showroom. And then I also designed the booth for Free Power. So Free Power, again, is it's just straight down there, but it's just another example of pushing the limits because it's wireless charging. You can throw your phone on a countertop in a bedroom, in a kitchen, in a bar, in a restaurant, and your phone will start charging. And so these are small...
It should be.
Yeah. These are small details that are making all the difference in technology right now.
Yeah, very exciting. All right, so let's get into how have you guys pushed the limits? Let's talk about maybe architecturally. Any jaw-dropping stories? Have you ever been asked to push a limit or you pushed a limit and you had some convincing to do? Go ahead, Regina, either way or both.
Well, there's a few, but this one stands out. This one is, we were designing a home, new build home it was a Victorian mansion. It is a Victorian mansion in Saratoga Springs, New York. Now that home was already beautifully surrounded by acres of forest, but the client wanted to take that one more step further with that connection with the outdoors. So we created an atrium in the center of the home that would basically open up the sky, open up to the seasons. And
was it big?
It was, it was large enough to stand out. It was definitely a focal point.
Talk about bringing outdoors in.
It did actually have a garden to walk through and a tree in the center.
Wow.
But it was completely open to the skies, and it was absolutely a design and engineering feat. So
was it your idea or theirs or both?
Well, they really egged us on, and we elaborated on that. And to boot, there's a moat under glass surrounding the entire structure, so it's really unique.
Was it hard to get permits for that? I'm just curious.
We didn't take care of the permits. We did have the builder take care, but it was absolutely...
Like an atrium with a moat and a tree, please, and it's going in the center. Yeah, throw that out. We're going to put it in.
And considering it was all the seasons in that area.
Oh, how gorgeous. My gosh.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's awesome. Well worth it. Well worth the risk taking for that jaw-dropping feature. Woo! Nina, have you ever been pushed to the limits, or have you had to push somebody to the limits? I think you've been pushed.
Yeah, so no, a lot of people come to us. Again, they're looking for unique stuff. So I was in Dubai for 2 weeks during December, and I ended up meeting a client. And so you know that Dubai is very advanced. They're much farther ahead than we are. And so what they're doing now is something called floating architecture or water-based structures. And so they're creating hotel rooms in these bubbles that are floating in the water. They're also doing restaurants. They're trying to create restaurants that are floating in the water, as well as homes that are literally, you put it on the water and it's like a home boat, a houseboat. And so I think that because I'm traveling so much, and listen, you don't have to travel. If you don't have the means to travel, you can look online because a lot of it is available online. But because we've traveled so much, we've been able to see so many unique ideas that other countries are doing because the government of Dubai or UAE is putting so much money into the architecture and development of UAE, which is mostly Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And so they're coming up with these incredible pieces of architecture and design that hasn't even reached here. So if I told you there's a floating bubble that's a hotel room where the windows can be dimmed where you can't see outside.
How do you
what
get
would you
out?
say?
Does it come with your own little boat?
No, it has walkways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you go to the Maldives and you're staying in one of those huts.
It's
but
like a connector.
yeah.
Got it. All right. I have notes here that you actually were pushed to the limit about a particular room you had to do. And I had not heard this one. So please share. She's embarrassed.
Okay, so I was on a television show back in 2014 with Nate Berkus. It was called American Dream Builders. I don't know if anyone ever
Sure.
watched that show.
I did.
You did? But it was The Apprentice meets Extreme Home Makeover, and it was on NBC. It was a very expensive renovation show. When I left that show, I got asked to be on a Bravo television show because they said, you look Bravo, whatever that means, that you look like somebody who should be on Bravo, not on HGTV. So I said,
God.
okay, I don't know what that means, but okay. And then they said, this is our topic. And I said, sure, what is the topic? And they said, we want you to design a sex room. And I said, what the hell is that?
And
they were
that's a
like,
Bravo
"No."
topic.
So they
for
said,
sure.
we want to create different rooms with designers who are designing sex rooms.
I didn't know this.
Where you have the straps hanging and all this kind of... I didn't even know what half of this stuff was.
So how did you approach this?
No, I actually said no. I had to... I had to say no because I have some I told you I deal with the ultra high net worth. If my clients saw me designing sex rooms, they would drop me in a heartbeat. So I had to make a decision. Do I want to be popular and funny?
In another
or do
sector.
I want to
Yeah.
do ultra high net worth? So I picked luxury. I don't know if it was the right decision, but that's what I
You
picked.
could have a luxury sex room, no? Okay. All right. Moving on. All right. So, what's the temperature read in both your practice and what you're seeing out there as far as concern for health and wellness? Again, I'm from California, so we sort of always have that, and it's really front and center in sustainability as well. If you want to answer those two things for you personally in your firm, and also temperature read that you see in your region.
Well, I think that, it took a worldwide pandemic to make us realize how important human-centric design is, sensory design, and the built environment being the center of the restorative center. So definitely everything that we're doing these days is, even the technologies and all the investments in design are really centered around the human-centric approach. So I think this is a place where we look at our homes as places to be, places to thrive in, and that's really at the heart of it all.
Yeah. Not just a respite from the chaos of our lives in the world, families and so forth, but real respite. It is nice to see that is actually a consideration now, having had to spend some time at home during the pandemic, right? We looked around and said, I need this to serve us better.
I also want to say that I think that the outdoor environment and how it connects with the interior landscape is so very important.
Yeah.
We're by pushing limits, actually. It's kind of understated. It's definitely not to the level of a sex room. But it actually does feed into Nina's the bubble hotels because these harmonic structures that we are putting into some of our modern retreats away from the city, where they've really invested in their surroundings. So we're bringing in these beautiful structures that are completely completely open to the environment. They work in with the architecture. They're virtual seamless appendages, or we can also bring the person out to the oasis in an outdoor building structure where they can connect with the gardens and pools. So, and this is a Belgium innovation that I discovered, and it's called Amani, which means peace, which we all need in our lives, I feel.
Yes, at all times, that would be the goal. We have so many cutting-edge architecture, state-of-the-art, modern, contemporary, and we're seeing a huge, everything is retractable glass walls, soundproof, now fireproof, meaning that it doesn't refracts heat from sparking anything inside. There's a lot of things going on. Circadian lighting, air filtration, all these things are now standard, whereas they were in demand quite prevalently right after COVID, but now with any new builds or remodels. Do you know remodels surpassed new builds 20% 2 years in a row in the United States? It's a lot of work for us all, a lot. What's your temperature read on some of health and wellness, sustainability aspects in design that you're seeing and experiencing?
So I'm not sure if you know, but I am the United States ambassador to Maison Objet in Paris. And so I was in Paris in January, and we were talking just about this, about health and wellness and how important it is inside of the home or in anything now. A long time ago, probably about 8 years ago, Deepak Chopra had created an air ventilation system that you attach to your HVAC, and it blows oxygen into your house or unit, and a lot of condos and high-rises in Miami started using it. And they were saying that if you have this oxygen in your space, you can live longer, that there's a longevity factor to it. And so that is becoming more and more prevalent, where people want wellness homes and wellness houses.
For the oxygen.
Which includes oxygen, because people are doing oxygen chambers. It includes ultra...
hyperbaric.
And then the UV light is a huge thing now that people want in their saunas, so they don't have to go anymore and get memberships everywhere. And so everyone is trying to bring everything into their home so that they don't have to leave their house anymore. And that's what we're seeing more and more.
I love it. It's all good, right? Sustainability. Are you getting a demand for that? Is it part of your practice? Are you trying to suggest it? Because the materials are out there. It's not more expensive. It's just education, really, as the stewards of design and what's latest, right, as the designers are. What is your feeling about that, and what's your experience with it?
So sustainability can be defined in so many ways. It's a recycled material that they say is better than the original material in itself. It's generally more expensive. And so a lot of people want sustainable, and some people could care less. So it really depends on, because some of the most beautiful things in the world that are the most exotic and the most luxurious are definitely not sustainable. So a lot of our clients, they're not so interested in the sustainability. They want functionality and beauty and uniqueness. Whereas there are other clients who want the sustainability, but most of our clients who want that are generally commercial or hospitality clients. The residential clients, from what we've seen, aren't as interested in it as the hospitality and commercial clients are.
Interesting. That's great. And you?
I would
Your
say
experience?
Well, we've been working on several new build homes based on the green build strategies lately.
Wonderful.
And I think that our clients are really self-educated, and they know what they want when it comes to a healthy home. It's important to them. It's a holistic approach, really, where we bring in all the mechanical elements that deal with, clean air and an airtight environment, in fact, that is energy efficient. One of our builds is based on I don't know whether you've heard of it, net zero platform. Sure. And it is becoming, I believe, probably by 2030 it'll be code, because it's just a thing to do.
Right.
But what also I say is, doing our part. I think what we need to do as designers is, is consider quality, sustainability, things that will have a lasting effect. I teach my clients as well to bring in the fine things. The finest luxuries don't always have to be expensive.
No.
They can be simple luxuries. They could be fresh flowers. I teach them to bring in things that have staying power.
Right.
And absolutely also antiques and
Antiques,
things that
pre-owned.
you can accumulate over time. So that's also,
Right.
there's a sustainability
Nothing
to
greener
that.
than pre-owned. Anyway, I love that. That's terrific. There is a wonderful organization. It's one of our many partners. It's called GFDA, Good Future Design Alliance. It's a nonprofit. We do lots of talks on sustainability and building. They are aligned with many other Green Build and other associations that we are, all of them nonprofits. Look them up. Good Future Design Alliance, some great programs, some great information. If a design firm just changes one aspect or one brand, one aspect of their waste product, that's huge. If we all did just one thing differently, the landfills won't be all filled. They're almost all filled in California, and you know how much land we have. That really resonated with me and with a lot of people. Just, you don't have to be completely bottom up sustainable, but just start. Do one thing. It really makes a difference. All right, let's talk about technology, the latest in technology. I'm going to read a quote. It's my favorite quote. We live in a society exquisitely dependent on science and technology, in which hardly anyone knows anything about science or technology. Carl Sagan. So, I will speak. I'm electronically challenged. Shh, it's a secret. I'm waiting for everything to be voice activated. Throw it on a counter, it charges. That's perfect for me. I just can't be bothered. I know I need to get from point A to B. Please, Lord, don't teach me how to build the car. I just want it to work. I think most clients just want everything to work, and they want it to be simple, right? And of course, they want the latest everything, and I'm dropping my notes, getting all verklempt. Would you expand upon that? What are your clients demanding, and how important is it that it's just simple? We don't want the wall acne on the wall of trying to turn on your lights and control everything.
So I think that with AI, I think all of us are using AI, such as ChatGPT. There's another AI technology that's called Sono, where you can make your own music. You can put in, like, I am an interior designer and I want to be a rap star. And I can say 2 lines and it'll play a whole song for me that
That's
Nina
awesome.
Megan is a rap star. And so, with AI being so advanced now, everybody wants that technology in their homes where you can turn your ovens on, where you can turn your lights on. It goes much further and far beyond than even our understanding today. In 6 months from now, a lot of new AI technology will be released for home and interior design. And I think you guys will see where the future holds. And it's more and more with AI. And again, it's going to go far beyond just lights and turning your stove and oven on,
Right.
and phones and
Yeah.
earpieces, and it's a lot.
It's moving exponentially very quickly. I know Josh AI was one of our partners, and they were the first to. They can do voice. It'll be voice imprinted. You can have your whole family voice imprinted. It could be just imprinted for a certain period of time. You can tune it in and out and all that stuff. But technology is it's here to stay. And
But what's actually really interesting is, I don't know if does anyone have ChatGPT Pro? the Pro account that you're paying for. So you can actually, and maybe you guys already know this, but you can actually input your profile. So I can put in there, I am, say, Peter Marino. I'm architect Peter Marino. I am Peter Marino. I wear leather. I love design. I developed the Chanel store in Hong Kong. You can say whatever you want. Every answer that ChatGPT gives you will be like it's coming from his mind. And so you put in that profile and you get that information back. And so even for your clients, you can do that, especially if you have high net worth clients. You can put their profile into ChatGPT Pro, and you can do it it's a part called leads, where it's separate so other people can't find your information. And you can get into the client's head where the client's information is shooting back to you like the computer is thinking like they're them, based on whatever information they have.
No more note taking. No more paper. I'm so old school. You know, they've said argument that when you write something down, you used to have to memorize a ton of stuff, right? And TV and stuff. And so if you write down a speech or something you have to get, it engages 3 different parts of your brain rather than just typing. Sight, touch, right? And thinking. So anyway, I want to ask you, what have you got on the horizon? What's exciting and new, or what have you just completed, or?
Wow. A few things.
Good.
I am working on a bedding line right now, a bedding and textiles line.
I thought you said bedding, like bedding.
Bedding.
Okay.
Linens. Not bedding.
Beautiful. Yeah, no bedding.
I'm not a bedder.
We are in Vegas, but.
In any regard, I've been working on that for 3 years now, and it's soon to be released. It is all about the evolution of fashion. Very intriguing, and I will also be creating another carpet line within that same context of collection. On the project side of things, we are working on some really cool international projects. One being a restoration of an Italian villa in Italy, Abruzzo, Italy.
Oh,
which
that sounds like such
really
a rough
beautiful.
job.
I know, it's tough.
Somebody's got to do it. I know.
Exactly.
Let me know if you need any help. Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
The other one is, one of the ones that we're working on that kind of stands out is a really cool Miami-inspired deco hotel in
Very
the old
diverse.
port town of Southampton in Ontario. And the one that really stands in my heart the most is we're designing some condominium residence in the modern luxury deco in tribute to my dad.
In South Beach, in Miami?
No, it's in Canada, this one.
In Canada. Oh, wow. Very cool. Very diverse. That's exciting. Exciting. And you, Nina?
Yeah,
Where are you
well,
off to?
Okay, so more than anything, obviously we have projects and we have all of that. That's all good stuff. But right now with Maison Objet from Paris, we are promoting women in design. And so this is a big initiative that I'm very interested in because we have for so long, especially if you go to Milan, and you see the women designers are very few. You can only maybe say Patricia Arcola and a few more on your hand. Everybody else are men. And so one of the biggest initiatives for Maison Objet is to promote women in design. And with that, we are actually going to be nominating. So every ambassador, the ambassador from the United States, the ambassador from Dubai, and there's 2 more. We are going to be nominating 3 designers who are upcoming designers to showcase women in design and really make this initiative something very important for women to be appreciated, especially if you're mothers, if you're daughters. A lot of us I'm a mother. And I work full time, and this is something that has to be brought to the forefront of design, and it's something that's very important to me, and actually important to a lot of people in Paris as well.
That's wonderful.
So,
You're speaking to my heart. It's why I formed this organization. It's celebrating women coming together with a purpose of expanding the circle. Purpose on purpose, expanding the circle with each other and beyond, and collaborations. We believe in community, not competition. And the strength of your network is the strength of your business. And that's what we believe you can find us. I love this. So how do people find you and sign up?
Oh, you can find us. Well, you can find us on my Instagram handle is @Nina Megan Studio. And then if you're interested, you can just email us at info@ninamagan.com. And obviously, like I told you, I'm representing the United States for this. So we really want to promote the women in design. So if it is
Perfect.
something that's interested to you, please send your portfolio so we can forward it off to Paris.
Perfect. And you, my dear, we are up on what you're doing, which is huge. And how do we find you?
At Regina Sturrock, it's really simple.
It's the name. Find
Yeah.
me at Women in Luxury Design. That's also the new website's launching, and social at Jennifer Convey at Women in Luxury Design. We're in California, Scottsdale, soon to be New York and beyond, and we have people nationally. We do a webcast called Wild on Design. It will be the podcast later today. Shameless self-promoting, but we cross-promote all of you. Anyway, we're going to open it up to the audience right now for questions. Okay, and Jason with Flying Camel PR is here. This PR firm is amazing. They've got a small army team here. They're awesome. They are the PR firm for KBIS. Okay, any questions? Right here.
First of all, you're both like so lovely. So thanks for being such an inspiration, really. And I'm delighted to know that you're a mom, because I think, wow, 12 years, it seems like you've probably built an empire. And how do you manage it all? I guess my question would be, in your 12 years, what would you say was the tool that you implemented in business that helped you manage it all? And I have one other question quick after that, too.
Yeah, so for me, it's been such a journey. I was one of those people who I remember designing my first space, and someone told me that, what is that? You can't be a designer, because I'm actually an economics and finance major from Southern Methodist University. And so they said, why would you leave finance and go into design? And I said, well, this is something that I'm really passionate about. But one of the tools and decisions I made very early on was probably after 5 years of my career. I decided that I want to be a big designer. I don't want to just be a designer. I want to make an impact on the design industry. And so I started hiring people to work under me who I believed and trained. And they had the same focus that I had. They had the same mindset as I did. So that I wasn't the one who was picking every single thread anymore. I still know every single project. We run about 40 projects at the same time. I know every single project that's going on, but you can either be a visionary or you can be the one in the mix. You can't be both. And that was a decision that I made at a very, very early and on in my career, that I wanted to be the visionary and I wanted to grow the brand as much as possible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what do you have a specific design program that you use to manage all your projects? That's, I think, one of our biggest challenges, truly, is finding what program works for every stage of the project. I'm all ears.
So we're using Programma. It's called Programma right now. That's the only one. I've tried Design Manager. I've tried everything. We use Programma. We developed our own kind of system in-house to do spec books and stuff like that. And then we were using Asana before for managing time, and now we use something called Smart Sheets, which is better because it can actually track the expense of the project, how many hours is being allocated to the project, and if you're going overtime or not. But Programma, it's in Programma as well. Yeah.
You guys are
Wonderful.
amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for good questions. Wonderful answers. Anybody else? Questions? Yes, right here. Oh, you're making it so easy. They're all right here.
Hi, thank you both for speaking and inspiring all of us today. Nina, I have a question for you. So from what I've learned, you are very forward thinking and forward design. And how do you, both can answer this, but how do you do that while still feeling inspired and creating your own forward thinking, if that makes sense? I feel like as designers, we need that inspiration, whether it's nature, whether it's travel, Pinterest, but all of that is trendy. How do you take that one step forward?
Trend versus real design.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, I think you should see what everybody else is doing and do the opposite.
Very good.
Because I was in Texas when I first started 12 years ago. I was in Houston. Everything was Mediterranean. Everything was very traditional, like Marge Carson furniture with tassels and stuff like that. And I was the only one who was designing super modern. So did I have as many clients as everybody else did? No. But I grew 10 times faster than them in the long run.
New and
because
different.
I was unique. And I was attracting the foreigners. Like all the South Americans, all the Europeans, they were coming to me because they understood that forward-thinking ideas. And so I've always been whatever everybody else is doing, do the opposite, because that's how you know you're doing it right. And I know it's scary because you're like, what happens if no one likes it? But what happens if someone does? Then that's what makes you a very unique designer with your own personality, not copying everybody else.
Love that.
Thank you.
I also
Gonna
feel that
answer, yeah.
same way. I feel that, stay away from the trends. And absolutely the Pinterest boards. Because that could be very, obviously that's going to, your clients are hiring you for unique ideas, and as opposed to just, everything that's out there. So they're hiring you to curate all of that. So I feel it's really important to step beyond what we see out there and do something very unique, just like Nina is saying.
Right. Quick comment here. We had an Empowered Design Women's Summit last year, and we'll be doing another one next year. We're skipping this year, but one of the things that we talked about, we have many speakers, taking care of the whole woman, right? You're a creative, you're a mom, or you have family, you're taking care, just your life, all of it. So it's the inside out care. But one thing you have to know is that you are unique. If you go into interior designer, there is nobody like you. Embrace it, because they're hiring you for your taste, your expertise, your skill, your creativity. Also, let's not forget, if you're not likable and they don't feel they know you, trust you, and like you, you're not going to get the keys to the kingdom. Being a designer, it's a luxury at any level. It's extra money for someone to pay you and make their home beautiful, whatever pay scale that is. So, if you don't know how unique and fabulous you are and what you bring to the table, then no one else. How do you expect someone else to understand that? That's all. Just really get in touch with that. It's so important. It's so important. Anyway, any other questions? Questions? No? Okay. Well, I have to tell you, you ladies are fabulous, beautiful, so talented. I am thrilled to be here with both of you. I'm thrilled to be here at KBIS. It's really been fun. So far, it's the first day. Anyway, thank you so much for all your incredible insights. And really enjoyed speaking with you. And I know you have busy KBIS planned. Absolutely. Thank you so much, and thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your time here. We'll probably bump into you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Nina. Thank you.